0 in Holton, -2 in Concordia, and the wind chill values are as cold as -19 in Concordia and Emporia as well. It's almost hard to say that. It's so bad. Burlington, -19. Now, temperatures, again, as I mentioned, I'll back up one graphic here and show you the temperature one more time. We're looking at 1 in Topeka. Holton is 0. Now, 2 nights from now, so we get to Thursday morning, we're expecting to see low temperatures. The actual temperature itself, it could be as cold as 15 below 0. So we are cold, but this is going to get colder. You know, I know it sounds exceptional to say that it get colder, but it will. So there's the Concordia view from the Capitol Federal Sky Cam at Cloud County Community College. Still snow there on the roads around Concordia and really all around the area. Wind chill, terrible, -19. Live look from Manhattan right now. Had a report a few minutes ago come in of 6 inches of snow just west of Manhattan. In Wamego, light snow still falling there downtown. And from the Cyrus Hotel downtown Topeka, from the intersection of 10th and Kansas, we've got snow just everywhere. Now, snowfall reports are coming in. There are not as many snowfall reports as you typically see with an event. But keep in mind, we've been screaming at you for a few days, stay inside, stay inside, stay out of the cold, extreme cold weather. You've got me talking about frostbite and all these other things. So it does not surprise me that we don't have a whole bunch of people running around with rulers measuring how much snow has fallen. It is just too cold to get out there and deal with it. So Horton has 4 inches, just southeast of Concordia, about 4 inches of snow there. Report a few minutes ago came in from Manhattan at 6. Now, I have not put up all the reports I've had. Usually I put up more of them than I would from what we see, but I had a lot of reports that are still from like 7 o'clock in the morning today, and those numbers are just not representative of what's going on. Holton, for example, it's a 3-inch report. That's from 8 o'clock this morning, and I fully believe that Holton's got something higher than 3 at this point, so I'm not going to put that on the graphic. But near Ozaki, we had 5. We had 4 on the southeast side of Topeka, 4.9 on the west side of Topeka, McFarland with 5.5, and officially 4 miles west of Manhattan, 6, and then Junction City with 3. I think Junction City's got more than that, but that's a number that came in later in the day, so I'm going to give more credibility to that 3 than I would because it did come in later in the day. Emporia 4, Burlington with 5. Now Burlington, that number came in early afternoon as well. I'm suspicious that Burlington's probably closer to 7 or 8 inches of snow, but I'll go with this one for now. But if you're in Coffee County and you do, if you do want to go out and brave the cold, bundle up and you can let us know how much snow you have around Burlington. I'm super curious to see if Coffee County's got a big number. It would not surprise me at all if somebody down there's got something that's higher than 5 for sure, and it wouldn't surprise me if somebody has a 9 down there. That's probably that's very possible that may have happened. Now across northeast Kansas now you're seeing much less showing up on the radar. Still some light snow and flurries near Belleville extending over to the Hayes area. We'll continue to see these light snow flurries through the night. Additional accumulation is unlikely. If we were to see more from the accumulation standpoint for the rest of tonight, it's less than 1/10 of an inch. I'm not even saying an inch. I'm saying 1/10 of an inch is the most we'd see additional on top of what's already out there. And of course, already a lot of snow. So wind chill values tomorrow morning. Unless you're a penguin, you need to bundle up. 17 below 0 in Concordia, 13 below 0 in Topeka. The actual temperatures are going to be around 5 to 8 below 0 for many spots, but tomorrow night is going to be worse as we get into Thursday morning. That's really the peak of this terrible cold Arctic air. We still have this extreme cold warning across the area. If you've never heard of an extreme cold warning, it replaces what was called a wind chill warning for a lot of years. The National Weather Service was working with citizens across the nation and different weather operations just like us, and finding out if the terms for a lot of the different warnings and things made sense. I'll go ahead and bring myself back up on camera as I explain this. So what they were doing was asking the public, hey, does a wind chill warning make sense to you? Do you know what that means? You know, so enough people were saying, why don't you just call it an extreme cold warning? So they've changed the name of a few things like that. So if you hear of these different names, something that doesn't make sense, it may be one of these new ones that's come along, and that's why this is now called an extreme cold warning. And a lot of folks, again, this is hitting your phone, and folks are like, what in the world's an extreme cold warning? What's that thing? So again, it's wind chill. -10 to -29 is possible through Thursday, and I can tell you that -29 is not out of play, but that's going to be the extreme end of it. Most places won't go below about -20 or -22. -29 is going to be a unique number. If anybody gets that cold, that's not going to be a lot of folks. That might just be Hiawatha or Seneca or Sabetha for a little while. And again, that's the bottom of the wind chill that's possible here for us. If you have pets, a lot of you do, make sure you're protecting them as well. We have family that loves the graphic because I really put the name Fido on that doghouse. And if the dog looks funny, I made that dog with our 3D graphics. I made it out of just different 3D objects, and I froze the water in the bowl, so I'm pretty proud of that little effect I did there. But yeah, the dog's shaking his fists. And if you, a lot of different weather stations across the nation, we have a lot of similar graphics because the vendors are similar. But I made that dog. That's my dog. That's my water bowl. And I'm proud of Fido. I'm not very artistic, but I made a dog out of those shapes. All right, so for your real dogs, shelter them. Make sure they've got a place to take shelter from the cold, the extreme wind. The wind chill, again, is just ridiculously cold. It's dangerous for us. It's dangerous for your pets as well. So if you have a blanket for them, if they have to be outside, make sure the blanket is dry. If their blanket gets wet, it's not going to protect them. The recommendation is also you can give them straw. Straw does a better job of staying dry. It gives them something to snuggle in and stay as warm as they can. Access to unfrozen water. Of course, all fresh water that's outside is going to freeze in this. Even salt water is going to freeze in this, depending on how much salt is in it. But yeah, you could freeze about anything in this. Increase the meal size. Give them a little more food. More calories can help. Bring them inside if possible. A lot of people bring their pets in just a couple of times a year because of the extreme cold. So this is that time. If you are one of those folks that brings them in just when it gets extremely cold, this is the time to do it. All right, so temperatures tonight dropping as cold as -2. And I'm actually watching some of your comments come over here on Facebook. I'm going to read some of those and answer some questions here as well. So -2 is an overnight low in Topeka. Tomorrow we'll go with 10 and mostly cloudy with extreme cold continuing. There's the 8-day forecast. And Isaac, just leave that up, and I'm going to check out some of the comments and questions there, and then I'll go back to the graphics again here one more time. All right, so Stephanie from Emporia says close to 8 or 9 inches there. Thank you very much. Sherlyn thanked me for explaining that wording. I appreciate the kind words. And yeah, letting people know about the pets. So if you guys have more comments and want to holler at me, I'm watching the comments come in on the WIBW page there on Facebook. So I can see that right beside me here. So if you have other questions or reports, you can holler at me, and I'll see it right here in front of me. Bring on Sunday, I agree. And next week will be in the 50s and even possibly 60s. So we'll go back to the graphics here again one more time. I'll read some questions or comments and reports. If you have snow reports, let me know, especially if you're around Burlington. Now, I don't want somebody running outside in shorts and checking the snow depth in Burlington. If you're going to do it, I'm running around in coveralls, so I only do that about 3 times a year when it's really bad. So just if you're going to go outside and check snow, make sure you protect yourself. But I'd love to get a number, a measurement out of the Burlington area, Gridley, anywhere in Coffee County. I'd love to know what you have. Our Angela asking, what's the wind chill going to be in Manhattan tomorrow, 8 or 9 a.m.? It's going to be as cold as -15 to -20. So right now, wind chill values across the mid part of the nation. Look at Bismarck, North Dakota, -33. Topeka has -16. Yesterday at this time, Bismarck was in the -40s, so it's improved actually. Right now, our temperatures are close to 0. I tell you it's going to get worse. It sounds like a big fish story, like I'm exaggerating. I'm not. It's so cold outside, it's hard to even imagine it getting worse. But the temperature on Thursday morning is going to be -10 to -15. I'm watching out the window at the TV station as a snowplow drives by, and I can't go out and high-five him, or I would. We appreciate the work those guys are doing, my goodness. So 1 degree in Topeka now. We've got wind chill values of -15 in Osage City. The warmest is -13 in Lawrence. Concordia, 19 below 0. Emporia and Burlington, 19 below 0. Now these numbers are different than they used to be. About 10, 12 years ago, the National Weather Service changed the scale on how they calculated wind chill, or what it feels like outside. And the wind chill is what what effect the air would have on exposed skin. So, with heat index, you're looking at the humidity, and it makes it harder for your body to evaporate sweat. With the wind chill, you're looking at how quickly it's gonna cool you based on how dry the air is, how strong the wind is, and the temperatures. So the -19, these numbers are really an estimate of how fast you can get frostbite. That's why we care about wind chill. Wind chill is not just for most of us, it's just a discomfort thing most of the time. Like, oh, it feels like 14 outside. I'll get a thicker coat. But, with the wind chill is -29, that's when we start talking about, well, in 30 minutes or less, you can wind up with frostbite. And that's a serious danger. So that's the purpose of it, as a, something that's, actually a safety issue. Whereas a wind chill normally is more of an inconvenience. Of course, if you're out and you get hypothermia faster, if you got a cold wind chill as well. But when we start getting this cold, you're talking about frostbite kind of things. All right, so Concordia, still several inches of snow on the ground. The closest number I have for Concordia is about 4 inches just southeast of town. Manhattan, we had a report a few minutes ago of 6 inches of snow just west of the Little Apple. In Wamego, I'm sure it's 5 or 6 inches of snow as well, close to it. And the camera in downtown Topeka, that's our Capitol Federal Sky Cam that's on top of the Cyrus Hotel, looking to the southwest in that shot at the intersection of 10th and Kansas. And a lot of, I think most of the schools are closed tomorrow for sure. And, I know some of the roads, the roads are all snow covered. You can kind of get around for the most part, but the wind chill is so extremely cold, they're going to keep a lot of the schools closed based on that in many cases. But still snow making the roads a mess. So here's some of the snowfall reports I have so far. I don't have as many snowfall reports as I normally would have, and part of that is because it's so cold that not as many people are running outside with rulers, checking out the snow depth. If it's 30 degrees, people are out there, run out there in flip-flops and shorts real fast, run back in, but it's so dangerously cold out there right now that you really have to bundle up and if you're going to do it. But these are the reports I have. I'm not using all the reports I have because many of the reports that did come in are from 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. They're just not going to be accurate now. If I give you a value of 1 inch of snow in Osage City, and it's been snowing for the last 8 hours there, then it's not going to be correct. It's an old value. So the west side of Topeka had almost 5 inches of snow reported. I'm sure some parts of town did go over 5. Southeast side of town, I got a report of 4. Just west of Manhattan, 6. North side of town, 4. 5.5 in McFarland. I had a report of 5 inches of snow just on the east side of Lake Perry. 3 inches in Junction City is the latest data I have, and that one came in later in the afternoon, so I'm giving it more credibility than I probably should. But I'm suspicious that Junction City probably has a higher number than 3. Emporia, the report I have so far is 4, but somebody here on on the feed here just told me they had 8 or 9 in Emporia. So yeah, Stephanie mentioned they had 8 or 9 there, and I do believe that. So that 4-inch report came in earlier in the day. So I do believe that 8 or 9. And Burlington, I believe, probably has that much as well. And so far, the report I have for Burlington is about 5. But I think that number's higher. So the radar is still showing some light snow and snow flurries near Concordia. Moving our way, we will stay in the snow flurries late tonight, but that should all be done by morning. And we are expecting to see the extreme cold sticking around, though. The cold is going to get worse. Right now, we're minus 15 to minus 18 in many spots. Supercast tomorrow by the afternoon, wind chill values improve to minus 3 to minus 9. That's the improvement. Now, the temperature tomorrow night is actually colder than we will be tonight. The temperature Thursday morning itself is going to be minus 10 to minus 15. And Crystal just telling me that she has a measurement from Junction City of 5 inches, about 4 inches of snow and a 5-inch drift. Thank you, Crystal. I really appreciate that report. And forgive me for going out in the cold. And Melissa, out by Forbes, got almost 5 inches of snow. Thank you. And I appreciate it so much. I know it's awful out there. So this extreme cold warning goes until Thursday at noon. I mentioned this a couple of times, but in case you're new here on the stream, I'll mention this again. What in the heck is an extreme cold warning? If you were awakened the other night, in the middle of the night, by your WIBW weather app, and I have it on my phone too. I actually have mine set that every single alert that comes in is like a tornado siren. So mine, sounds like that at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning whenever it comes across. But I want to have it make as much noise as possible because I need to be able to communicate to you whatever the risks are. I don't recommend you put tornado siren up for everything you have, but I need to be obnoxious and to make sure it wakes me up if something's going on. But I got the extreme cold warning just like you did. So what's that? An extreme cold warning is a new name for what was wind chill warning. So wind chill warning, the National Weather Service went out across the nation. They got offices around the nation. They didn't travel. But they reached out to people across the nation and offices like ours, and we're trying to communicate, do our warnings make sense? Does the terminology make sense? And one of the things came up was wind chill warning. What does that mean? What is wind chill advisory? What is wind chill warning? What do these things mean? So the people, giving them feedback, what came out of it was that, okay, extreme cold warning, that means something. So extreme cold warning, that's a new thing, but if you hear it, that means something like this. Wind chill values of -10 to -29 are possible. And as I mentioned, it basically replaces what was the wind chill warning. There's Fido, keep him warm. Whatever your pet is you have, if you have a pet that's outside in the extreme cold, this is hard on them as well. So make sure they have shelter. They need to be in a place they can get out of the cold and the wind. The snow is going to stop falling. We got you a snow flurry tonight at the most, but make sure your critters have got some place to stay warm. This is dangerously cold, no doubt. I cannot imagine staying outside in this. That would be just absolutely just terrible. And for your critters, you want to make sure you take care of them too. So give them a blanket if they have to be outside. Make sure the blanket is not wet, and you can also give them straw. Apparently, straw does a trick and doesn't get wet, and at least not the same. They need access to unfrozen water. Your dog's water bowl is going to freeze for sure. You can give them more food, and if you're really nice, you can bring them inside. A lot of folks bring them in a couple times a year. We have a bearded dragon at the Goodwin house, so I'll go ahead and keep him inside as well. I don't think he'd do well outside in any conditions. A heat lamp, so he can't deal with this. So tonight, -2, snow ending. Tomorrow, 10 degrees. That's an improvement, but then we get worse again. Watch out for Thursday morning, a low of -10 in Topeka. Some spots on Thursday morning are going to go as cold as -15 degrees. So right now we're close to 0. As I mentioned, I'm telling folks, it's actually going to get worse. And weather, it seems like we're always, oh, it's worse, oh, it's terrible, oh, it's going to. But I'm serious. It's 0 degrees outside right now. Thursday morning is going to be 15 degrees colder than it is right now for many spots. So be prepared for even colder weather on Thursday morning. After Thursday morning, things improve. Friday is cold, no doubt. But 24 in the afternoon, -2 in the morning. -2 is, that's a problem. But the wind is not going to be that bad on Friday morning. So it will not be the extraordinary wind chill. But -2 is still not great. Now, Saturday we get above freezing. I am looking forward to that. Sunday, 50 degrees and plenty of sunshine. And David was having fun with all the comments I put on these 8-day forecast days earlier today. And Monday, I think my favorite one, I just put happy, because getting to almost 60 after this extreme cold is going to be just such a blessing. So again, I'm kind of harvesting snowfall reports that I'll have tonight on 13 News at 10. But you have the latest right here on how cold it's going to be. Again, the coldest of this air mass is going to be on Thursday morning when the temperature itself goes 10 to 15 degrees below 0. We did have a day back in January where we got to -12. So this might not be the coldest day we've seen so far this snow season, but certainly -10 is dangerous, and seeing those wind chills already close to -20 right now is dangerous as well. All right, I'll see you on 13 News at 10. Thanks for checking in here on the live stream.